Hi everyone. This is week 3 of Well 440, and we were asked for our discussion question number 2 to discuss network leadership, power, and social change. So the first thing we were asked was to describe in our own words how network leadership can be effective model, leading social change, how it relates to different areas of leadership, and do you see yourself as a network leader? So, kind of to start that, I do think it can definitely benefit social change. I think the point of a network leader and leadership ultimately is to kind of build a group of people and evolve that group based on the many skills of everyone else. Um, Comparing it to an organizational leader, I think there are quite a few differences. I think, in my eyes, an organizational leader, and I never really thought of it, I guess, like this, but in another class I had taken, they had talked about, like, the difference between um, being a leader and being a manager. And it kind of brought me back to that, seeing some of the characteristics in the article we were reading, how to network leadership different from organizational leadership, and the understanding the difference is important. They had a chart in there basically listing the organizational and networking. Organizational really reminded me almost of a manager mindset where it was very like structured and kind of more like, well, like I said, directive and just almost superior to everyone else, where the networking mindset seems to be much more of, and it said in here, like a collective role and a facilitative role, you really working with everyone else to get what you want ultimately. And like I said, the organizational was more like manager in the sense that, it's very just, you do what I tell you to do and that's it. And network is more like kind of go with the flow and, really embrace the people's ideas around you. I do believe I'm a network leader, at least more towards that than like an organizational leader, because I really do rely on the people around me, the experience of the people I work with, and just different ideas. Like, I think it's amazing. You get a group of 5 people in a room, and every person has a different perspective on whatever you're doing. And I think that's awesome. The next question on this we were asked to talk about was explain the difference between power over, power with, and power to in your own words. I first read that and I was like, kind of what are they talking about? But I read that article, kind of, it was called Making Change Happen, Power. They very clearly wrote what each meant, which really made me think power is a very strong thing, and depending on how you use it can definitely vary the meaning, which, like I said in this article, really made me think about that. But basically they said power over really had a negative association. It kind of meant privilege to certain group of people, and an example they listed was just politics and how politicians have the power over these huge decisions for everyone, who can exclude people and from different things, and it can just be a very scary thing if it's power over is in the wrong hands. Power with was definitely a more positive note. Basically was talking about finding common ground and building a collective in strength. It says, it can make a large impact on a sense, and also a sense of community, because it's creating a community. It's getting a group of people together for a common cause or common goal. And then power too, I really like their definition for this. It said a unique potential for every person to share his or her life and world. For me, it's just kind of like understanding the unlimited power of possibility, and just there's no limits to what you can do. So these articles were really interesting and kind of really opened my eyes to things that I probably have thought are in front of me all the time, but I never really thought about, I guess. So hope everyone else is happy and safe, and we'll talk to y'all soon.